why do we still watch wrestling? Now, I could be petty and say the same reason why anybody watch TV these days, because you watch a whole bunch of things where that is scripted. Whereas in wrestling, you can't use the F word, you can't use the word fake because it's predetermined. The hits are real. Because
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to Ken Shamrock. Some of you wrestling fans remember how crazy Ken Shamrock was back in the day. Matter of fact, he was the first wrestler that I recall who went wrestling, then decided to go UFC. A little bit too, quote unquote, too real for wrestling. But one thing, you listen to what he's saying on Vlad TV in his interviews, he's saying it's predetermined. But the hits, not only the hits are real, you are more than likely to sustain a longer injury doing wrestling versus boxing versus mixed martial arts. Whereas wrestling, no, you got to take those hits. Like he told a story today about match between him and The Rock, where he told The Rock, "Hey, hit me with the chair as hard as you can." Now Rock was looking at him crazy, like, "What am I doing that for?" His take was, "Don't worry, I got this." Because as a fighter, you're supposed to tuck your chin, and that way they hit the forehead. This is the hardest part of your head. Win head, hit him as hard as he can. And when you do that for a long period of times, those injuries tend to sustain a little bit longer versus boxing versus mixed martial arts. So there's nothing fake about wrestling. Predetermined, sure. And I can tell you there's some cases that was not predetermined, and we can get into that down the road when we build this channel. But I watch it because I love it. Pretty much that, plain and simple. I love the storylines. I love the wrestlers. My son loves it as well. He telling me this boy's a genius in math, science, and social studies. He's telling me he wants to be a wrestler. Hey, I'm not going to stop him. It could be it's a lot better than what other kids are trying to do, but everybody is entitled to their own life choices. So I enjoy watching it just like I still enjoy watching NFL. I still enjoy watching NBA. I still enjoy watching MLB from time to time. Major League Soccer. I just like wrestling. I like boxing. I like UFC. I like all of that stuff. It's entertaining and all of that. So why not watch it? It's the how I see it. But that's why I still watch it. Will, why are you still fascinated with wrestling?
Man, you know what? It's because here in Detroit, that's one of our staples. You see what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. We the Motor City. We like boxing is one of our things. Football is our thing. Shout out to the Lions. Lions 2024 25. We're going to the Super Bowl. Just go ahead. Just that. I understand. You brought up Tom Brady last show. I'm bringing up the Lions this show, but this is not the football show. This is the wrestling show. We'll get the football channel up and going another time. But for right now, wrestling, man, was always that thing, man. Like even when I was a kid, my uncles, my father, even my grandparents, they would talk about wrestling. It's the mystique of wrestling. You see what I'm saying? It's that it's something about wrestling that back in those days when I was watching the golden days of wrestling, what I refer to as the golden days of wrestling, it was always that mystery to it, but it always kept you running back to the TV. And then as you go through the eras and you see the evolution of how wrestling changed, you always wanted to come back to wrestling. The pay-per-views, the dark shows, the in-house shows, the Mondays, the Wednesdays, the Fridays, the Thursdays, the Saturdays sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And then this is not just wrestling on TV. You still got your backyard wrestlers. You got your indie wrestlers. You got your international wrestlers. You got all of these different stories that always keeps you entertained. For me, it was always the mystique behind it. It was just that thing. You see what I'm saying? And not it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just entertainment. It was a lifestyle. I ain't gonna hold you up. Coming up as a kid, we used to try to imitate wrestlers. Even to this day, as we see in most forms of social media, Chris, you know what cutting a promo is, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, in what sporting event do you not see people cutting a promo? In what social event or disagreement or debate do you not see people cutting a promo? Hell, most people who even cut promos today, or as they say, talking crap, most people can relate to the Ric Flair, the
Woo!
Gator situation. You see what I'm saying? The Gator promo. You can
Mm-hmm.
relate to the Stone Cold Steve Austin promo. You can relate to the Undertaker promo. You can relate to all of these wonderful promos because they live within you. And then when you do get to go back and you get to relive that, even in the olden days and in the new days, I gotta tell you, just like you said the last show, these women, they doing something for wrestling. They definitely bringing eyeballs, not just because of their looks, but it's because of their performance. And that's what keeps it's the energy, it's the essence, it's the mystique of it all. That's what keeps it going for me.
Yes, sir. And there's nothing wrong with being a fan. Y'all watch y'all stuff. I don't hate to a degree. Let me rock and watch my stuff. But listen.